Hey everyone, One Big Boss here, and as you can tell from the title of the video that you clicked on, we're talking Resident Evil and why Resident Evil Remastered is an important game for the Resident Evil franchise and the future of the series. Now, this was brought to my attention by a couple people, and so I done my research and looked some stuff up, and I was really shocked at a lot of the things I was seeing from people saying that they don't want Resident Evil Remastered to happen. They never wanted it to be a game, they just wanted Resident Evil 2. Now I can honestly say I am not surprised that they were bitching and moaning that they want Resident Evil 2, because quite frankly, I want Resident Evil 2 to be remade myself. But they were really shitting on Remastered, calling it a game that's not worth it. It's a pointless entry in the series. And some of these people, I called them out. I asked them, I was like, have you ever played any of the older Resident Evil games past 4, 5, and 6? Because something tells me you're a fan of just 4, 5, and 6. And they go, well, no, I've never played them, but those tank controls and everything, and the fact that you don't get unlimited ammo or drop-in of ammo or anything from these people, it's stupid. Why would we want to play like that? And the tank controls and everything. And I'm like, oh my god, it's the same bullshit over and over. Now again, if you like Resident Evil 4, 5, and 6, I am not going to attack you or shit on you, because quite frankly, I like 4, I like 5, and I like the characters from Resident Evil 6. But what you have to remember here is, Resident Evil Remastered is a brilliant game from a game that was brilliant to begin with back in 1996. 96, I got Resident Evil, and I couldn't believe what kind of game I was playing. It was violent, it was scary, its voice acting was cheesy, it was the 90s, it was awesome. It was all this kind of crazy shit and everything, and it gave birth to Resident Evil 2. And Resident Evil 2 is the more popular game in the series because, well, it was better advertised. It was everywhere. It was in magazines, video game magazines everywhere. It just seemed to have Resident Evil 2 all over them, And then a lot of people went back and they bought Resident Evil 1. And quite frankly, Resident Evil 1 is, again, it's a very good game. So, the years went on, Resident Evil 3 came out. Resident Evil 3 is my personal favorite, even though it didn't make as much as Resident Evil 2, but it was still well received by fans and critics alike, so, gotta give props to that. Code Veronica comes out, pretty good game. Lacking in replay value, sure, but still very good game, especially because of the graphical leap from the PlayStation to the Dreamcast. Very, very, very good. And then, time went by, Nintendo comes out with the GameCube, and then Resident Evil gets remade for the Nintendo GameCube. And I gotta tell you, the shit that I was seeing back then in game magazines and on the internet and stuff like that was unreal. I was so psyched for this game back in the day. I couldn't tell you what it felt like getting hyped up for this game, and then when it finally came out, it delivered. I couldn't believe how much of this game was so different, yet so much the same, but it also brought to me, I gotta keep playing this game. Yeah, okay, some areas are games from the first game and stuff like that, but they've been retouched everything. Graphics, voicing, replay value, unreal. And that's the thing with this game, there is high replay value. But again, we got the people who like 4, 5, and 6 and aren't willing to give Resident Evil 1, 2, 3, 0, and Code Veronica a chance, which is very sad because they're missing out. They call themselves dedicated fans, but they won't play the core essential games that got them Resident Evil 4, 5, and 6. Now, one of the reasons why this game looks so good in this day and age, not just because they've rebuilt it from the ground up, it's not like a simple port or anything like that. Resident Evil Remastered is a game that has tons of replay value. The tone of the game, the theme, atmosphere, music, characters, everything is perfectly stitched together to make an amazingly awesome game. Which, to me, you cannot deny that this game does not look beautiful. Even if you play the 2002 version, you're gonna love it. But I love the fact that survival horror is back, okay? Because that's what I grew up on, and Capcom is trying to get back to the survival horror roots. They started it off with Resident Evil Revelations, which was good, and making this game is kind of like, I want to say it's a testing ground for all you people whining, bitching, and moaning about Resident Evil 2 not happening. Granted, yes, Capcom should listen to us, and they should give us Resident Evil 2 in a remake form, because 2 has been highly asked for over 10 years. Ever since Resident Evil Remake came out, everybody thought Resident Evil 2 would be next, but instead they took the cancelled Resident Evil 0, and they turned that into a GameCube title. Granted, again, much like Code Veronica, the replay value wasn't really that high on the game, but it was still enjoyable, even though it sold less than Resident Evil Remake, and Remake, didn't sell well in the eyes of Capcom. But, you know, getting Resident Evil 2 remade will happen if you all buy Resident Evil 2, Revelations 2, and you buy Resident Evil Remastered. Because with those games, you will get your title, or at least you'll have a better shot at getting it. Because if you're just going to spam them with hate and everything and say, I hate this, I hate that, I hate these old school controlling and stuff. Oh, by the way, all of you bitching about the tank-like controls, you can switch those controls so it's a much easier game to play for all you guys. Trust me, okay? So you can stop your whining about tank controls and actually play the game. It's $20. Anything. You drop more on that on stupid games all the time, I bet. I know I've done that myself, actually, but... But regardless, though, Resident Evil Remastered is a masterpiece, and, you know, this is not a game that was out a year ago or 2 years ago and is getting a remake like The Last of Us and Tomb Raider and GTA 5. No, this is a game that's over 10 years old. They took their time, and it is a fucking brilliant masterpiece. And if you want Resident Evil 2, well, again, you're gonna have to like this game. You're gonna have to give good words to Capcom. Flood them with good news. Tell them, we love this game. We hope that Resident Evil 2 is just like it when it comes out. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, your negative comments and you trashing other fans of the franchise is damn childish and ignorant, okay? Okay, look, I don't like Resident Evil 6. I hate Resident Evil 6. I like the characters that are in Resident Evil 6, but the series is more for the Call of Duty fans because that's what Capcom said. They made it so they could bring in other people from other franchises to play their game, and it was terrible. It was fucking terrible how they handled that. But you all, like, you know, like a lot of you are very psyched for this game if you haven't gotten it already. I've had it since November because I imported it, and it's phenomenal. It's my childhood coming back. But a lot of you complaining that, you know, you don't like these games and stuff because they're too hard. Guess what? This is what gaming was back in the day. You know, this whole, like, I like when ammo is dropped and everything. I like when, you know, the enemies leave me health items and stuff like that. We didn't have that back in 96, 97, you know, and early 2000s. We had a search, and that's what survival horror is. It's conserving your ammo, finding the health sprays, finding hiding areas, you know, trying to dodge enemies and everything. That's what it is, okay? I'm pretty much just going to conclude this really by saying that you need to give Resident Evil Remastered a chance, because a game that is over 10 years old, and it looks even better now than it did when it came out back then, and it's getting major praise from a lot of websites around and everything, you have to give it a shot. Forget this whole I hate tank-like controlling. You like characters like Jill and Chris and Wesker and everything. Well, guess what? This was their beginnings. This is where they began. Okay? You're going to love this game if you give it a shot, okay? You're going to have to learn the controls and everything. It's going to take you a while, I understand. You know, it's not like I'm saying go out and learn the controls in one day. No, you're going to have to take some time to devote and learn the controls. But if you like games that have replay value, if you do like scary stuff, but you also like the action stuff, guess what? The action is still in these games. When it comes to boss battles and stuff like that, and running from enemies and shooting them, the action's there. So, that's pretty much what I've had to say on this. Stop shitting on the game that you've never even played before. Stop bitching that you want Resident Evil 2, because if you do that, you're never going to get Resident Evil 2 without giving these other titles a shot. Especially since a remake of 2 is only going to happen if you, the players, buy and give, you know, good word about Resident Evil Revelations 2 and Resident Evil Remastered. So, that's my 2 cents on it. What do you all think? Are you all fans of Remastered? Are you glad Capcom did this? Do you think they're on the right track to getting back onto the survival horror route? Let me know in the comments below. Let me know if you disagree and all that good stuff. So, thumbs up the video, like and subscribe, because it's free, and in this day and age, free's a damn good thing. As always, everybody, thank you for watching. I'm One Big Boss, and I will see you all next time.